Imagine that you are walking down a quiet street now. The sun falls on your shoulders. My feet kicked the ground, and my heartbeat started to accelerate slightly. But somewhere you can't see, in the layer of fat a few millimeters beneath your skin, there is a silent battle going on. Your fat cells are going through a change they never expected. These cells are usually like lazy warehouse managers. Gluteal muscle array the excess energy you eat. Stay quietly under the skin, around the internal organs, and do nothing. Just save, and save again. But when you start walking, when your muscles start to contract, when your heart starts bleeding, these lazy warehouse managers suddenly received an urgent order. Open the door and move the inventory out. This command does not come from your brain inhibiting. Rather, it comes from a set of biochemical signaling systems that are so sophisticated that they are fascinating to explore. And what we are going to do today. Just follow this system step by step. Take a closer look at walking for 30 minutes every day. This problem is more complicated than you think. It's more surprising than you think. Let's start from the first step. The first step: when you sell, your muscle cells immediately start consuming something called ATP. You can think of ATP as the energy coin in your body. Each muscle contraction costs a few coins. And your body belongs to the balance of these coins anytime and anywhere. The first few minutes of failure, your body will prioritize using the sugar sources already stored in your muscles. Just like spending the change you have in your pocket first, instead of going to the bank to withdraw money. At this stage your fat cells haven't really been disturbed yet. They are still sitting there with streaks on their faces. But this is only temporary. About 5 to 10 minutes after the walk starts, a crucial shift begins to occur. Your glue-sensing nervous system is activated. You can think of the glue-sensing nervous system as your body's emergency radio station. Once the broadcast starts, cells throughout the body receive the signal. This broadcast signal will cause your body to emit a signal called base speed of body line speed. The line speed on his body is like a fast rider on a flagframe motorcycle, penetrating into your blood vessels very quickly, specifically knocking on the door of fat cells. When the linear speed of the body reaches the surface of fat cells, it binds to a receptor on the cell, like a key in a lock. Turn this key. A cell inside a fat cell is called. The protein of fat coal is activated. Fat coals. You can think of it like a scissor bow in your fat cells. Its job is to remove large pieces of fat stored in fat cells. Break down into smaller pieces. Fatty acids and dry oils. The fragments are released into your bloodstream. This process has a professional name called fat mobilization. But I prefer to call it the fat warehouse opens its doors. At this moment, those fats under your skin that are sleeping and seeking start to really flow. They left the cell where they had been for a long time, enter the blood and start a new journey. And the end of this journey are your muscle cells that are working hard. There is a structure in the muscle cells called force-limiting body. The force-limiting body is the microengine in the cell. Its job is to put various fuels, convert into energy coin ATP, when oily fatty acids. As the blood stays next to the muscle cells, the limiter body will suck them in through a series of complex chemical reactions. Turn fat into energy. Let your muscles continue to contract. Keep walking. So when you can't, what's going on in your body? Essentially a complete energy supply chain. Fat cells are greedy reservoirs. Blood is the transport channel. The force-limiting body in the muscle cell is the factory. And every step you take, they are all the driving force for the operation of this supply chain. But here's something most people don't know. Fat burning efficiency. It was not started with full force from the first minute. Research shows aerobic exercise at moderate intensity, such as walking briskly, lasts until about 20 minutes. Fat function ratio will really start to rise significantly. This is why many exercise scientists recommend bad time. It is best not to be less than 30 minutes. Because the first 20 minutes, your body is still warming up, still switching fuel modes. True fat burning peak. It only started arriving around 30 minutes ago. Not trying to scare you. Not really planning to give up. This is telling you, hold on until 30 minutes. It has sufficient scientific basis. Your body needs this time to complete the fuel switch. Now let's talk about a deeper change. One that occurs inside fat cells. Changes that are completely invisible to the naked eye. When you insist on less than 30 minutes a day, after a few weeks, your fat cells don't just store fat and passive fat. Their own structures are also changing. Scientists discovered regular oil and oxygen exercise reduces the size of fat cells. This is not because the number of fat cells has decreased, but because in every cell, less fat is stored. The cell itself is like a deflated balloon. Shrunk. But what's more interesting is another thing. No rules. Changes gene expression in adipocytes. You can express genes. Think of it as work instructions in a cell. Same set of genes. You can choose to execute different instructions. Produce different proteins. Exhibit different functions. Researchers from Harvard University and Maguire Institute of Technology. There was a study published. Regular exercise found to activate fat cells. A series of genes related to lipolysis. Genes that are also consistently related to fat and metabolism. Simply put, it makes fat cells more inclined to fat. Instead of storing fat. This change is long-term. Is structural. It's not walking today. It's so simple that the fat disappeared today. It happens quietly bit by bit. Re-ice the working habits of shallow fat cells. There is another very important role here. Must be mentioned. That's Ichishimisu. Ichishimomoto. You can think of it as the energy distributor in your body. Its job is to tell the cell. Absorb the ordinary sugar from school and store it. When insulin levels are high, fat cells are instructed to store more fat, rather than releasing fat. This is why a long-term high-sugar diet. People who can't do anything for a long time. Fat will become increasingly difficult to mobilize. Because their insulin levels have been high for a long time. The door to fat cells remains closed. But the rules don't work. Will significantly increase the sensitivity of cells throughout your body to insulin. Insulin sensitivity. Just like cells reacting to insulin. The imaginary speed of this energy distributor. The higher the sensitivity. The same island hormone. Can get more work done. Ordinary sugar in school. Can be used by cells more quickly. Blood sugar will not remain low for a long time. Just one dose of insulin eliminates the need to continue secreting large amounts of insulin. When insulin levels decrease, the door of fat cells is easier to open. This is the beginning of a virtuous cycle. No. Increased sensitivity to insulin. Decreased insulin levels. Fat mobilization is smoother. Physical fitness is more likely to decline. Multiple studies from the American Diabetes Association have confirmed. Is to increase insulin sensitivity. One of the most effective non-drug methods. Never had such an experience. After walking for a while, I feel like the swelling around my belly is starting to loosen. The belt can use one more buttonhole. If you have any comments, tell me. When did you start to feel this change? This feeling is not an illusion. This is your fat cell. Stimulated by regular walking. The true embodiment of shrinking little by little. But we're not done yet. Because of the effect of walking on fat cells. There is another more secret. A more surprising level. That's what walking does to you. Adipocyte-secreted hormone. Yes, you heard it right. Fat cells aren't just passive storage cells. They are actually a very active endocrine organ. Adipocytes secrete a variety of hormones and signaling molecules. The most important one is called branchin. Apophysin, you can think of it as big friendly things released by fat cells. Its job is to send signals throughout the body. Tells the liver and muscles to increase sensitivity to insulin. Accelerate fat burning and always react seriously. The higher the streptin level, the more health you have, the better off you usually are. And the research found. Trails of moderate intensity exercise. For example, walk for 30 minutes every day. Will significantly increase the level of lateral ligands in the blood. This means walking doesn't just burn fat. It's also making your fat cells become a better endocrine organ. Actively secrete signals intended for your body. At the same time, another hormone secreted by fat cells. It's called speed. It will also balance the area after the trajectory movement. You can think of it as speed control. The tendency of fat cells to send out. What numbers specifically tell your brain? We have enough energy reserves. No need to eat anymore. But many people who are chronically obese, there will be something called the state of speed resistance. It's like the brain's voice to this attitude. Becoming more and more sluggish. In fact, there is a lot of fat in the body. The brain doesn't feel the sense of protection either. It becomes increasingly difficult to control food intake. Not powerful enough. Coordinate with healthy time. Helps to gradually improve speed resistance. Let your brain hear again. Signals from fat cells. This is a very deep. About the repair process of your food education control system. Now let us break down a few questions about. No, just a common area. First, object area. Many people think it's not too easy. It's simply impossible to be effective. You have to run or do high-intensity training to be effective. That statement is inaccurate. Scientific research shows Moderate intensity nutritious exercise. That's the kind of person who can talk when things don't work. But slightly out of breath. Exactly in fat function ratio. Highest heart rate zone. This interval is often called fat burning zone. Approximately 60% to 70% of maximum heart rate. CAT intensity exercise, although the total consumption is higher. But during exercise, a greater proportion of glycogen function. The proportion of fat function is relatively reduced. Certainly, high-intensity exercise has its own advantages. This is not to say which one is better, but to tell you, no, it's a real and effective way to burn fat. Don't underestimate it just because it looks easy. Second object area. Many people think that just walking, fat will be removed from you when you walk. The used legs disappear first. That is the so-called partial persistence. This is a deep-rooted misunderstanding. But it's wrong. When your body mobilizes fat, is systemic. Instead of cutting wherever you apply force, fat mobilization is determined by base speed signal. The base velocity is through the blood, flowing throughout the body. It doesn't cause your legs to move. Just knock on the door of fat cells in the legs. Which part of the body loses fat first? This is largely determined by your genes. Everyone is different. The third object area. Many people think, no, the calories consumed in 30 minutes are too few. Probably only 150 to 150 kilocalories. Not enough at all. This technique. Energetic, a very important thing. That is, there is no long-term impact on metabolism. Being disciplined is not just about burning calories during exercise. It also increases your basal metabolic rate. Improved transition speed and clarity. Optimizing gene expression in adipocytes. These changes are ongoing. Said it works 24 hours a day. Put the value that doesn't work. Only converted into calories consumed during exercise. It is a very biased calculation method. Certainly. Everything has its boundaries and risks. For people with severe paleoarthritis, for example, the habitual section is severely degraded. After closing the joints, eat and change the number. For people who have fully recovered, it is not recommended to forcefully increase the amount. Otherwise it may aggravate joint damage. For patients with neovascular disease, for example, there is a week in the near future where I am willing to die. Serious heart rhythm market people. Before starting any exercise program, you have to find a doctor first. Get professional exercise prescriptions. For diabetics, especially patients who use medical guide speed treatment, no, it will affect blood sugar levels. Need to be under the guidance of a doctor. Adjust medication dosage and exercise time. Avoid hypoglycemia. For healthy people, no. Almost the safest way to exercise. But we should also pay attention to seeking gradual steps. Don't just walk for 2 hours. Give joints and muscles enough time to adapt. Another very important point. No effect cannot be divorced from the overall lifestyle. To discuss alone. If you can't do 30 minutes a day, but it continues to be too popular in film and television. Severe lack of sleep. So bad fat burning effect will be greatly weakened. Lack of sleep increases fatigue levels. Fatigue makes you stupid, just like the pressure in your body. Let him meditate. Your body will tend to store fat instead of burning fat. Especially visceral fat. No, it's an important piece of the puzzle. But he is not all. Now let's take the whole process. Complete training together. Feel the craftsmanship of it all. Your first step in selling. Muscles start to contract. Energy coins start to be consumed. 5 to 10 minutes later. Glue sensory nervous system broadcast. God on the line quickly set off in circles. The door of fat attraction is knocking. Fat starts working every time it detects the bow. Oily fatty acids enter the blood. 20 minutes later. The proportion of fat function is significant in the upper body. Your body enters a true fat-burning peak. End of 30 minutes. You stop. But the changes in fat attraction haven't stopped. In the next few hours, your body is still there. Burn fat more efficiently than usual. This phenomenon is called excessive nutrition after exercise. You can think of it like after the engine stops running. Engine and fish temperature. Still dissipating heat. And when you stick to it for a few weeks, a few months later, deeper changes begin to take place. Your fat attracts fat and body muscle shrink. Altered by expression. Significant increase in finger speed. First guide speed and sensitivity improvement. Speed models gradually recovered. Your fat attracts. From a lazy warehouse manager. Slowly becoming a more positive, more cooperative and healthier older partners. This is not magic. This is the survival wisdom of the evolved wealthy human body. Humans are a species born for walking. In the long evolutionary history, our ancestors walked long distances every day. Go find food and explore the world. Our bodies are at an elite level. It is programmed to walk regularly. To maintain normal operations. Sitting still for a long time. This is a violation of this energy system. And a 30-minute walk every day. Just reminding your body. Back to the way it was supposed to be. This is a very simple thing. But its impact. Penetrate into every fat cell in your body. Go deep into your genetic expression. Deep into your muscle cells. Go deep into every corner of your metabolic health. You don't need to climb a marathon. A fitness room that doesn't require daily visits. No need to be extremely strong. You just need to walk for 30 minutes every day. It's that simple. If today's content makes you concerned about what's going on in your body, those invisible changes, got a new understanding. If you think these scientific principles make more people know this video today, share with you friends and family who care about their health. Like. Let more people see these real sciences. Subscribe to our channel. Because next, we will continue to explore more about your body, your cells, the surprising truth about your health. Your body is smarter than you think. And you just need to give him a chance.